Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to absolutely transform your spoken English by mastering three of the highest frequency motion verbs out there: run, come, and go. Look, if you've ever felt like your English is technically correct, but somehow it just doesn't sound totally natural, well, this is exactly where you need to be.
So let's just dive right in. You already know what these words mean individually, right? You know how to physically run, you know how to come here, and you know how to go there. But translating them directly from your native language, that's what often leads to unnatural phrasing in everyday conversations. Why is that? It's because English relies incredibly heavily on specific word combinations to express complex ideas. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the motion-verb confusion. Then, we'll master run collocations, followed by come, and then go. After that, we'll look at some native speaker comparisons, and we'll wrap it all up with a final review and quiz. All right, kicking things off with part one, the motion-verb confusion. The real secret to sounding like a native speaker isn't about cramming thousands of random vocabulary words into your brain. It's actually all about collocations. These are just the natural pairings of words that instantly sound right to a native ear. Instead of memorizing words in total isolation, we really need to start learning them in their natural, everyday chunks. Moving right along to part two, mastering run collocations. Let's bring this to life a bit. Imagine a super stressed entrepreneur. Now, they don't just manage an office, they run a business. One morning, their alarm doesn't go off, so they run late. And because of this, they suddenly run out of time to run errands, like dropping packages at the post office. When they finally get to work, they have to instantly run a meeting, making sure they don't run the risk of losing a major client. Later on, they need to run a test on their new software. And then, stepping outside, they completely unexpectedly run into someone, an old friend from college. Notice how run in all these chunks is all about management, depletion, or sudden occurrences.
Now, this is where the subtle nuances get really interesting. For instance, you'd operate heavy machinery in a factory, but you naturally run a local bakery or a small business. Similarly, you finish a specific task, right? Like a homework assignment, but you run out of coffee or gas or time. It's that difference between depletion versus completion. Okay, time for a quick test. Go ahead and pause the explainer for a second. Think about that stressed entrepreneur story we just went through and try to fill in the blanks yourself. I need to blank some errands before we blank out of time. Did you get it? The answer is, I need to run some errands before we run out of time. If you guessed run for both, awesome job. You're already starting to think in those natural word chunks rather than just doing direct translations. All right, part three, mastering come collocations. Picture yourself in a really bustling conference room. Your colleagues are kind of arguing, trying to come to an agreement on a super tough project. Suddenly, someone manages to come up with an idea. To back it up, you might come across some useful data in an old file, and you confidently tell the team, hey, this will definitely come in handy. Someone might roll their eyes and say, oh, come on, but you stand your ground. You might have to come back to the drawing board, but eventually, your professional dreams come true. Well, assuming the stress doesn't make you come down with a terrible cold first. This perfectly highlights the difference in formality and context. A train arrives at a station. That's very formal, very scheduled, but your friend comes to your house. And while you intentionally meet a new person at, say, a networking event, you come across an old document in your desk by pure accident. Let's do another quick check. Go ahead and pause the explainer again to see if you can figure out the right collocations for this kind of unlucky scenario. I hope my dream will blink true before I blank down with a cold. And the answers are, I hope my dream will come true before I come down with a cold. Recognizing that we come down with an illness, rather than just getting sick, is honestly a huge step toward real conversational fluency. Next up, part four, mastering go collocations. Think about planning a massive event, like a wedding or a giant corporate gala. First, you get permission from your boss to go ahead. Then you sit down with your team to meticulously go over all the details. Naturally, you hope the entire event will go well. But sometimes, despite your absolute best efforts, things go wrong. The catering shows up late, or important files just go missing out of nowhere. When the stress hits its absolute peak, you might just need to go out and go for a walk to clear your head. It's a lot of stress to go through, but hey, you manage it. Notice the critical differences here. You leave a room, which puts the focus on the departure, but you go to a destination. Furthermore, while a business might formally experience a period of growth, a regular person will go through a difficult time or a challenging process.
Which brings us to part 5, native speaker comparisons. If you're translating directly in your head, you might end up saying something like, I want to make a business, or we met a problem. And yeah, people will totally understand you, but a native speaker naturally opts for run a business, and things went wrong. Making this simple shift is literally what takes your English from sounding translated to sounding completely authentic.
Finally, part 6, final review and quiz. Let's summarize these core rules, and honestly, I'd highly recommend taking a mental snapshot of this. Use run when you're talking about management or running out of things. Use come when you're discussing ideas, discoveries, or things manifesting. And use go for processes, reviewing details, or describing how situations unfold.
Here's your final hurdle. Take a moment to pause the explainer one last time. Review your notes if you need to, and see if you can conquer this final challenge. Fill in the blanks for these 3 phrases.
Let's see how you did. Number 1 is run a risk. Number 2 is come across an old photo. And number 3 is go over the details. If you successfully matched management with run, discovery with come, and process with go, then you are well on your way to native level fluency.
Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep practicing these natural pairings instead of just isolating single words. I'll leave you with this challenge. Which one of these exact phrases are you going to seamlessly drop into your very next English conversation? Pick one, use it today, and watch your fluency absolutely soar. Until next time.